Hi, this is Justin with Justin's Web Design and More Business Today. In this video, we are going to learn how to add and how to use titles or headings. And it's a good idea to use headings within your content. They're very useful for allowing people to skim your website, and that's how most people digest your website, is by skimming it. And having these separate from the text is useful for multiple reasons, mostly search engine reasons. Adding a title is very easy. You just go to widget, and there are actually two different kinds of titles listed in here. You have large title and small title, and you see in parentheses next to large title it says H1, and next to small title it says H3, and that'll come up in a minute. But I will say on the H1, preferably you want to have one H1 tag for the page at the top that explains what the page is about. That's what an H1 tag should do and what it should be. And then the subtitles can be H3s or they can be something different. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and add an H3 just to show you here. So let's say we want to put this into a new row. We have an H3. And the formatting of this has already been selected based on the design, and for the most part that's how I would recommend that you leave it. I will say that here it says H3. It's a good idea to use H2s, H3s, H4s. So think of your website as a hierarchy, and it's not that the first title you use an H1, the second title you use an H2, and so on and so forth. It's the first most important thing you use H1, the second most important thing you use H2, and then the things that are subsets of the note about H2 you'd use H3 for, and so on and so forth. The main thing is to just be consistent. So a lot of times you might use only two different kinds of titles. That's why you have the H1 and the H3. That might be all you use. You just have one big title at the top of each page, and then you have a bunch of little ones that introduce paragraphs, as I have here. The other thing I would talk about with this is, while you can change the color, the size, all the same stuff you can do with the editor, it's better to set all the H1s, all the H2s, and all the H3s, and so on to be the same. And we try to do this during the design process, so it may be something you don't need to worry about at all. But if you decide that you want all of your headings to be, let's say you want all your headings to be bold, and these aren't bold, you go under Design, Global Text, and these are all H3s, probably. Click on them and see it's an H3. So Design, Global Text. If you look here, you have H1. That's what my H1s look like on the site. And then here's H3. I can click on the little arrow next to it, open it up, and you can see here are all my options. It says what it is. It says, the font size. And if I change this on here, so say I make it 36, it makes all of those titles bigger. Now, if I had changed this size manually, it wouldn't affect it. And so that's why it's good to have them make the change here. Now let's say I want them all to be bold. I can hit bold. Say I want to keep them at 26, but I want to make them bold. I could do that. I think I will make them 30 and not bold. So anyhow, that's why we want to use that design. And you'll see that you have H1 through H6. I wouldn't recommend using all the way down to H6 as far as in your text. You don't want to have a lot of different kinds of fonts in your page, but that gets into the more design side of things. And that's all there is to adding titles. Is that easy. Editing them, you just click on them like regular text, and you can change what's in there. deleting them, just like with text or any other element, you can hit the little red X when you hover over it, and that's all there is to it. Titles are pretty straightforward. Hopefully that makes sense. If you'd like to discuss the overall design of the site, you're having trouble grasping it, you really want to understand it, then feel free to contact me about that, and we can discuss that in more depth. Thanks.